Let's bring in longtime Tesla bull, the Fitz-Gerald Group's principal, Keith Fitz-Gerald. Keith, are you worried about potential Ford competition in the EV space? Look, year to date, Ford has outperformed Tesla. It's a much different story on a longer-term basis. But could Ford be gaining on Tesla? What do you think?
Well, I know that that's a popular contention, and I would love to believe so because Ford is a storied brand. But the answer, honestly, Jerry, is I'm not even remotely concerned that Ford is going to catch up to Tesla. It uses borrowed IP. Tesla controls its IP. Tesla is scalable with real-time database, billions of miles. Ford has no comparable database. Ford is catching up on all the technology, the batteries, the driverless gear, the autonomous. That's not even counting robots or infrastructure. I think Tesla makes 10 times per vehicle what Ford can make in 10 vehicles for at least the next half decade, maybe longer.
I think it's interesting they're doubling down on the strategy as the tax credits are going away. But walk me through the reasons you think the market could go a lot higher at this point. We've been talking a lot about CPI. We've been talking a lot about good news versus bad news. What's the spur to higher prices for stocks?
There's a couple things here. There's an interesting question, right? So the Fed still hasn't cut, right? They will one of these days. So I don't care good, bad, or ugly. They're going to do it one of these days. Second, there's still a lot of money on the sidelines. Third, institutions are still net wrong instead of being long coming out of April. I've been doing this 4+ decades, and I have never seen this kind of imbalance. So good on the individual investors for sticking to it. And finally, it's officially FOMO season because many of the great names that we talk about regularly continue to pull ahead, continue to put up great numbers, almost 12% this quarter, and that has gotten people's attention.
Yeah, and I love those individual investors. All right, you believe that the market is not even remotely positioned for the Trump-Putin summit this Friday. Why is that, and what should they be doing?
Well, this is the law of common sense, right? They wouldn't be having this meeting if both parties weren't at some level interested in making things right. The markets are continually asking themselves what could go wrong. Chances are slim of their success. There's all kinds of verbiage being pushed around this. But if they succeed, if there's some sort of detente, if there's some sort of resolution, no matter how vague or how indifferent or how slight, then companies like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin are going to go bonkers because now we've got European tailwind. They've got to bring their NATO spending up. We've got those great companies with AI, missile defense, all of which is going to help keep this nation strong and indeed much of the world. I
love that as an investing theme. Is there any particular names you want to mention here quickly?
Well, again, Raytheon and Lockheed Martin are the two best in class, best in space, best, most advanced in the key thematic areas that are associated with this meeting in particular and the nature of warfare today.
I want to talk to you about Palantir. Headlines gathering over Palantir, nearly 2,500% run since its debut in 2020. And if the bulls can justify that valuation, it's a big question. What's your response to the naysayers? Will it hit 200 bucks?
Well, I've had 200 bucks on the board long before people could even spell Palantir for the most part. I think it hits 200. I think it goes a lot higher than that, in fact, because valuations really are not applicable to a company like Palantir, which does not play by the same rule book. It is becoming the infrastructure of where data goes next. The Oracles, the SAPs, those are all yesterday's rearview mirror. If you want to go forward, you got to have actionable information. Palantir is the only company that can do it. The valuation is not so important as it is where it's going.
Fascinating. Keith, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.